The Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, and the Illinois Attorney General have levied the largest penalty against a car dealer to date this past week. This is courtesy of NAIDA.com. They are asking for a whopping $20 million, which I feel like is a real penalty. We covered another issue with a dealer being shady, allegedly, and having to pay, I believe, is $1 million fine for being kind of racist, basically.
Yes.
But, man, dealers...
$20 million. That is a lot. I mean, I guess we don't know how much what their revenue is for a year, but still, that is a ton of cash.
Well, it's a large automotive group as well. They operate Honda dealers, Hyundai dealers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram dealers, Subaru dealer, Volvo dealer, Mercedes, Porsche, Volkswagen. So in the grand scheme of things, it looks like it's probably about $1 million per dealer, which shouldn't bankrupt them, but that's not a small amount.
No, but I will say, even though the last time we talked about this, it was a smaller amount, and this could end up being, on the whole, a smaller amount maybe than we imagine just hearing 20 million. I'm still so happy to hear and be able to talk about the feds coming after this crap. Because it's a scourge on the industry, and I like it when the government works.
So here's what happened. The gist of the complaint is pretty much what we expect car dealers to do all the time, is lie. They charge for add-ons without consent. Again, all of this is alleged. This is based on the complaint from the FTC against this car dealer. They added unnecessary fees. Well, what car dealer doesn't?
Yeah,
they
seriously.
posted fake reviews, and they also did not disclose some vehicles were imported from Canada.
Could that be I guess if it was sold here?
The reason why that matters, so North American spec cars, it doesn't matter as much as you would think.
Okay.
North American spec cars are basically all the same. There's no difference between a car that gets shipped to the Canadian market and gets shipped to the U.S. market. There are very slight variations in differences between their safety rules and regulations. So Canadian vehicles have to have daytime running lights, which is just a software activation thing. We have a slight difference in crash test regulations for impact bumpers is like 5 miles an hour versus 10 miles an hour. But North American cars are just all made the same. It's not like they're putting a 5 mile an hour bumper on Canadian cars and 10 mile an hour one on our cars. So typically you can buy a car from Canada and just get a letter of compliance from the manufacturer, boom, done. And, Speedo, you got to change out from kilometers to freedom units. But other than that, no big difference. Except the reason why it matters, warranty. Warranty does not always transfer from North America, from north of America to America, from Canada to America, and vice versa. So that is the deception there. The fake reviews thing is awesome as well. I think that's hilarious. Dealers do this all the time. Let's be honest. Come on. You look at any business's reviews and you go, oh, gee, those look like they were AI or just, not an actual customer. Frickin', look at Amazon.
Yeah.
The Amazon's Choice stuff. Man, there's so much alleged manipulation with reviews on general products that I get solicitation emails every week for companies wanting to help me remove bad reviews. And I'm like, that's not, they're there. They're real.
I don't want to remove those.
Honestly, most of them I enjoy responding to because I can be super snarky because a lot of them are not legitimate in that we were bad at our job. It's just somebody didn't like what we said to them or something like that. But anyway, this is crazy though, because, all right, so this company, Leader Automotive Group, is getting, they are leading now in the amount of fines, but they're getting fined for posting fake reviews. But we found a competitor of ours that appears to be doing the exact same thing. And it was a high-end car dealership called Auto Barn out of Noonan, Georgia. And somebody on their Yelp page, which Yelp is making a comeback of all things,
seriously,
posted and said, hey, they're essentially like all their 5-star reviews or most of their 5-star reviews are fake because the owner of the dealership went on social media and was soliciting 5-star reviews from influencers in exchange for a follow on social media.
Oh,
and he posted a screenshot of this guy's story from Autobarn. And I looked into it, and it seems plausible. Here's why. They have 1,400 Google reviews, which is a lot for a car dealer. We have about 100.
I said, does that mean they've sold 1,400 cars?
Yeah. 4.4 stars, but on cars.com, they have a 2.9 star average. On Yelp, they have a 1.6 star average.
Oh.
So if you look down deep in their Google reviews, there are a disproportionate number of 5-star feedback that don't have any reviews. Just a ton. And they're all in this certain period where this one reviewer claimed that the owner of Autobarn was soliciting essentially fake reviews. So it is odd how many 5-star non-reviews are in that 1,400. So, and when you read the bad reviews, it's really, really bad. There are some good ones too, but
I'm just scrolling through now, and it's like there's a bunch of 5 stars and then a bunch of 1s. Like there's not much in between. It's either this was amazing or literally the worst experience.
Right. And it's always a matter of what comprises the 1-star reviews. Like what happened, right? If you read our 1-star reviews, it's kind of like, well, people were just being cranky because they didn't like the price we quoted them or something like that. And that's the case a lot of times with dealers. But in the case of Autobarn, according to the people leaving 1-star reviews, it's pretty shady practices. A lot of misrepresentation.
They also misrepresent their lobby furniture, apparently. This review I'm looking at says, friendly staff, but the lobby furniture was broken, and the vehicle I went to view had extensive damage. Oh, boy.
Well, it's good to know. And I say this because, so we've called out, both on the podcast and on my social media and just in general, we've called out a lot of what I believe is not worthy competition. And in doing so, we have been criticized for essentially not staying in our own lane, right? Somebody's told me, well, there's this unwritten rule in the car business that you don't narc. You don't talk about when another dealer is being
snitches
unethical.
Get stitches, Doug.
Right. And I'm like, okay, there's just general car dealers being car dealers, but then there's like really crappy practices, and it's difficult. Number one, I didn't sign that agreement, right? Like I don't know, nobody told me that. That wasn't in the dealer agreement. But there's a reason, right? I'm all about good competition. But when you have other dealers completely misrepresenting cars and covering up histories in order to exist on the same playing field, and we're selling great cars and they're not, but according to them, they are just as good. It's frustrating. So yeah, I'm going to call them out. And in this article about Leader Automotive Group, the FTC was quoted as saying this, and this is what I like about this. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of government, but they do have their place when it comes to regulation. They said, quote, working closely with the Illinois Attorney General, we are holding these dealerships accountable for unlawfully extracting millions of dollars from consumers through a textbook bait and switch scheme and bolstering their poor reputation with fake reviews. We will continue our work to ensure that consumers are not being overcharged for cars and that honest dealers do not need to compete with firms that cheat. Yay!
Let's go.
Yay, government. Now, where does that $20 million go? Who knows? They say it's going to provide relief to customers, but
Well, and what's also interesting is I found an article here from Motor Biscuit, which I believe we've called out before. This is from
Are
August.
they profitable yet?
Are
they getting into the motor gravy? Or is it?
Yeah, I hope, for their sake, I hope so. Maybe all these call-outs from it's going to send all the Switchcast viewers to Motor Biscuit.
There we go.
Get them some ad revenue if they even have ads.
Is that like a good breakfast read?
Yeah. So this article says that back around in August of 2024, they posted in Q2 a massive loss due to inventory impairment, and they're going to close all the U.S. locations, or they were at least threatening to.
This is the same dealership.
Leader Automotive
we're
Group.
Talking about. Okay.
And it said like their parent company, like Auto Canada, is going to be like ceasing mergers and acquisitions and all this other stuff. So things were not good a couple months ago. They're probably even worse now.
Even less, yes, even less good.
They still seem to be up. Like all the websites are up. The dealerships seem to still exist. So I don't really know what's going on. But I thought that was interesting. A couple months ago, they were threatening to close everything anyway. So this might just accelerate that.
I thought it was interesting that a lot of them are in Normal, Illinois, in contrast to the Reed Autos scam dealership from last week, which was in Peculiar, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri.
One of those.
Went from Peculiar to Normal. That's just a random anecdote. But anyway, just so you know, there is hope out there if you're frustrated with dealers for pulling bait and switch type stuff or charging $1,000 doc fees and any number of other fees that you don't even know what they are. Well, the FTC is on the case, and apparently just recently they also filed charges against two other dealers, one in Maryland, I think one in Georgia. So they are cracking down, and maybe they'll take a look at the fake reviews on this Auto Barn as well.
You know, while you're in there. It's one of those while you're in there.
Interesting. Well, speaking of interesting negotiation practices, bait and switch or whatever, we see a lot of that on Marketplace as well, and that brings us to our shrewd negotiator. I found this one in the Porsche 911 buy and sell group. Here we go. This is the description. Original 2008 Boxster RS60 Spider. This is an extreme rare car, being a black interior and the Tiptronic transmission.
Oh.
3.4-liter flat-six Boxster engine. Do your research, please. This is not a regular Boxster S. Basically a 911 in a Boxster body and produced in very limited edition. Clean title, turbo wheels, super good tires, brakes, spelled wrong, of course, brakes, etc., all good, recently serviced. This is a good investment.
There it is.
Yes.
Oof, probably not.
Yeah, except he didn't do his research despite him telling other people to do so, because originally he had it listed as a 3.3 liter and a PDK transmission, which they didn't make until 2009. So, yeah, very condescending right out the gate, telling people that it's basically a 911 in a Boxster body, which it's basically a Boxster with an updated trim level.
Yeah. Like,
and some badging.
Gosh.
Oh, man. People trying real hard to make a Tiptronic, an automatic Porsche Boxster, seem rare and special, but a little bit wide of the mark.
It's about everybody at the PCA car shows anyway, so yeah.
They're becoming Corvette people.
No, they very much are.
Anyway, he had to throw in the good investment thing, too. I checked with my investment advisor. He had not heard of a Porsche Boxster mutual fund.
I think you need to get a different investment advisor, Doug. He's not up on the times.
I was trying to do my research. That's what he said to do.
Nuts for Sticks is a brand celebrating the manual transmission in all its forms. So forget those flappy paddles, because we like shifting ourselves. Check out our fun and funny stick-themed shirts at nutsforsticks.com and save 10% on your order using the discount code SWITCHCAST. That's nutsforsticks.com and use code SWITCHCAST.
Thank you for joining us for Switchcast with Doug Tabbitt and Tyler Sanders, produced by Ethan Huffnagel. Switchcast is an automotive entertainment and opinion show, and nothing we say should be taken very seriously. We do not give tax, investment, legal, emotional, or professional advice, and the only licenses we hold are driver's licenses. The opinions expressed on this show are exclusively held by the people pontificating at that moment and do not reflect the values of our producers or sponsors. Our theme music is provided by Emily and Ivory. You can stream their full album on Spotify or SoundCloud. If you like this show, you can stream it in its entirety on your favorite audio podcast platform. Check out switchcast.live for more info.